My dairy and acne experience. Let's get into it. Hey everyone, I'm Amy and I'm on a mission to have healthy skin, a healthy mind, and a healthy body. Thanks for stopping by. If you are new here and you want to see more videos about acne, my acne journey, and overall health for your skin, your mind, and your body, then please subscribe to see more videos. So in today's video, I'm telling you all about my relationship with dairy and how it has impacted my acne and my overall health. If you guys have been a subscriber of mine for a while, then you know that I've had a really long journey and battle with acne, and I've tried a lot of things, a lot of different things to see what will help improve my acne, and dairy was one of those things that I kind of fought with for a long time. Growing up in Lebanon, we ate dairy. We had more of like clean dairy. We had cheese and yogurt and milk and all of that good stuff, and it was really good. I came to America and things changed just a little bit. The dairy industry here in America is a lot different, and of course it's very common to consume dairy as part of an American diet. So of course I did. I fell in love with sour cream. I still love sour cream. I ate a lot of cheese and pizza and just a lot of things that had dairy in it. A lot of things nowadays have dairy in it, especially if they're fast food or processed foods and things like that. It's very common to find dairy in foods. When I first came across the idea of giving up dairy to help my acne, I was in absolute, denial. I really kind of rejected that idea overall, and I really did not want to give up dairy whatsoever because I loved it and it was also such a big part of my day-to-day life already. But I kind of fought with that. There were times that I would, give up dairy for a few days, give up dairy for a few weeks, then I'd go right back to eating it again. And it was really hard for me to give it up. It was something that my body craved, and I was already so used to consuming it that I just could not see my life without it. Then in 2018, I had a doctor's appointment. It was actually an eye doctor appointment, and I listed that I was experiencing headaches. And in the room, the doctor asked me about that. And I mentioned that I didn't really think that it was linked directly to my eyes. Sometimes maybe if there's a really bright light, it can contribute to my headache or cause maybe like a slight headache, but I just didn't really feel like it was directly linked to my eyes. But I mentioned that I think it was linked to consuming dairy and mucus. And then he shared with me that he actually experienced a similar thing. He just had constantly watery eyes all the time, and he'd always have to carry a napkin with him to wipe his eyes. And then he decided to give up dairy to see if that made a difference. And he said that he loved his queso, but he had to give it up. And since he gave it up, all of his issues with his watery eyes just stopped, and he just felt better overall. So from that experience, I decided to get serious and to give up dairy, and of course it was not easy. Again, I did it for a couple of days, for a couple of weeks, and then I'd go right back to eating dairy again, and then I just decided to hardcore just stop eating dairy altogether. And the reason why was because I began to notice that the days that I did not eat dairy, I did not have a headache at the end of the night. And that was something that really bothered me, and I had no idea why I was having so many different headaches every single night. Like, my husband would actually have to rub my head for me to fall asleep because it was so painful. So I want to say in May of 2018 is when I gave up dairy, and I was really good. I didn't have much dairy at all for a very long time. I noticed that my headaches went away. I just felt clearer, and the best part is that like my mucus wasn't as bad. That was something that I also noticed right away. Growing up, I always noticed that I was always kind of stuffy and I always had mucus, and that was mainly when I was a child. In America, I would always have to have tissue with me, and it was just like an overflow of mucus all the time as a kid. And when I gave up dairy, I noticed a complete difference. Like, I no longer had much mucus at all. I wasn't constantly blowing my nose, and that was a really, really good benefit on top of no longer having headaches. From my experience, giving up dairy did not absolutely clear up my acne. I personally believe that my acne is linked to a few different things, and it's not just dairy, but I did notice that I had a large decrease in the amount of cystic acne that I had and the amount of acne that I had in general. So it definitely contributed to the type of acne that I was having, and I benefited from giving up dairy. But I will say that I noticed that certain types of dairy had a different effect on me. For example, cheese had the worst effect on my headaches and my acne. I don't know why, but it would definitely create cystic acne, and I would have a ton of mucus after eating cheese. I would get sick after eating cheese sometimes. And butter is one that I don't really have a bad reaction to after I consume it. Sour cream is the one that's kind of in between, and like yogurt is also one that's in between. So I don't really consume much of those anymore, but for holidays and things like that, I do treat myself and I do consume food items that have dairy in them. I've tried to go back to eating dairy again a little bit here and there, but I just never get a positive outcome. I just don't. So even though I like dairy and it tastes good and it's yummy and it's in everything, I can't have it consistently anymore. I don't know if I ever will be able to, and I don't really know if I ever want to necessarily, but it's something that I have to consume at a very, very, very small amount, very sparingly, like extremely sparingly. And most days now, if I even think about eating dairy, I ask myself, is it even worth it? Do I want to suffer with a headache for the rest of the day? Do I want to feel bad the rest of the day? One thing that I also experienced from giving up dairy was that I stopped getting sick so often. And when I would consume dairy, I would feel more symptoms of like getting a cold or feeling sick. So that's also a big one for me. So overall, I would say that I have about a 90 to 95% dairy-free diet. Again, there are certain times that I do consume it, and things like ghee and butter, sometimes I still consume as well. Around the holidays, like Thanksgiving and Christmas, are the times that I do consume dairy again, but sometimes I regret it very soon after. So in conclusion, giving up dairy did not clear up my acne, but for some people, it actually does. So if you're thinking about it, I would say give it a try. It's actually not as hard as you think it is once you actually accept it and just go for it. It gets a little easier with time. The biggest, I guess, benefit for me was less headaches and less getting sick, as well as less mucus, which is a really, really big benefit. Overall, I feel better when I don't consume dairy. And I'm not saying that I will never consume it again. I just pick the times that I want to kind of treat myself and want to consume, certain dairy products. But at the same time, it's just not best for me to do it consistently. So that's just my personal decision. Some people function perfectly fine consuming cheese and dairy and all of that good stuff. But for some reason, I just don't. So I don't know exactly why. But I've definitely noticed a big difference in my overall health since, reducing the amount of intake of dairy that I consume. So let me know if you have given up dairy or if you're thinking about giving it up. Leave your comments down below. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.